What's up, everybody? PG Brown here, president of Blackstone Labs, back at it with Katie. We just crushed a leg workout, and we're going to pose. It's gonna be interesting to see how her legs look with all these blood in here. We are about 2 weeks out from the Hurricane Pro Show, and we had our first show prepping together. We only had about a month, and we did Tim Gardner's Tampa show, and we did a lot in a short amount of time, but both of us agreed that that wasn't a true prep of how we wanted her to look. Now we've had a full prep. She looks amazing, and we're gonna bring her in shredded. But Katie is also a coach, and so what we're gonna do in this video is she's gonna come out, boom, just do her routine for me to see as her coach evaluating her, and then she's gonna actually do a little bit of a short tutorial video on how she coaches her clients on posing, and we're gonna watch and learn. So I'm gonna get out of the way. Let's just look at your routine as if you were gonna come out on stage. A lot of blood in those legs now. Very good. Very, very good. Major difference in Canada, that's what
Okay guys, so today we're gonna do a posing tutorial. I have a lot of new girls that come to me, never done a show before, know nothing about posing. So this is gonna be for y'all. Obviously everybody can take some tips from this, but we're gonna go through like you've never done a posing routine before, okay? So what I first do with clients is I say, okay, we're gonna nail down your mandatory poses. So for bikini, there is 2 parts to a show. There's an individual routine, and there's a comparison round where you do front and back poses. So the first step would be to get down your front and back poses, figure out what looks good for you, the best angles, and then we will put together your routine, okay? So we'll start there. So basically we're gonna start with the front pose, okay? So first I have clients usually try both sides. Most people have one side that looks better than the other. That's just how it is. So we're gonna try both sides. So for me, this is my front pose. On this side, obviously I practice it a lot, it comes natural for me. But like I said, we're gonna try both sides with the client. So this is an option of a front pose. The main thing for all front poses, you want to stand up super tall, have your chest facing the judges, your upper body, you want it to be square, okay? So your shoulders are very square across. Your back arm is always up on your waist, and your front arm is going to be hanging down. I always say pretend like you're going to frame your glutes, okay? You never want anything in front of your glutes. Obviously, bikini is all about the booty, so we never want to be blocking that in any of our poses. So your upper body's square. You also want to think about your waist. Bikini is very much so about small waist and all about angles. If you don't have a small waist, that's where you angle it correctly to show it off, okay? So for instance, this front pose, you're gonna be twisted all the way to your left, square up upper body forward. That gives the illusion of a small waist, okay? And then your legs, you always want to show off lines, if you can, lines in your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads. So this pose is great for showing off your quad line, your glutes, your hamstrings. Same thing if you were to, you could try the other side. It's gonna be the same pose, but you're facing the right side. Then your back arm is up, and your other arm is hanging down loose. As you can see, this doesn't come as natural for me because I haven't been practicing it. So once you get your front pose down, definitely just practice it over and over. It comes more naturally, you fall right into it, okay? So that is gonna be front pose. Back pose is pretty easy. Okay, so we'll go through that. So back pose, the standard, your feet are about shoulder width apart. Your toes are gonna be pointed out slightly. This is gonna show off your quads from the back. All you're doing here is pushing your glutes up and back. So you don't want to flex them, you're not squeezing them. You're just pushing back. You'll feel this in your low back a lot. That means you're doing it right. Your hands are resting about halfway down your thighs. You don't want them too far up where there's too much space. I call it chicken wings. You don't want it too far down where there's no space. You want a little bit of space between your elbows and your waist. You're just pushing your glutes back. You'll feel this in low back. And you want to keep your chest up. A lot of girls will think, oh, I'm going to bend over more. That's going to bring out more hamstrings. Don't do that, because you have to remember the angle the judges see is already below you. So when you angle down more, you're going to make it look even more so, you know, bottom heavy. So you always want to keep upper body super straight in back pose while still pushing those glutes out and arching that back. And you're just holding this. So this is back pose. And then there's the third mandatory pose in bikini. That's another front pose. Most girls will do the same front pose twice. That's what I have most of my girls do. Very simple, it's easy. So you come back around, you get back into that same front pose that we've decided on, okay? So those are the mandatory poses for bikini. Your routine, obviously, we tie them all together. It's all about the whole overall stage presence. We do those with what we call transitions, so we'll work on that right now. So with the front poses, you're gonna do transitions in between to make it flow together, okay? So from your front pose, okay, whichever way you're facing, you're gonna do what we call a transition to back pose. So an easy one is what I call the S pose. It shows off a nice curve in your glute. Remember, bikini is always about curves, angles, shape. So you're basically just going to slide that right leg up while stepping back. So you're here, you're gonna slide your left leg back, step up with your right, and land here. This is a very common transition that a lot of girls do. It's super easy. You can do it same thing for the other side. If this is your front pose here, an easy transition, step up like this, here, okay? So you're gonna hold that. So that's your transition to the back, okay? So you're here, and then I know y'all have seen this in pictures or videos, this transition to the back where you push all of your weight on that glute and turn to the back. So here the judges are looking at your glute muscle, okay? So when you step out, you really want to focus all of your weight put on that front glute. Your back glute, you don't necessarily want to show off. You mainly want to focus on this front one. And then your front arm is just resting flat on the front of your thigh. So all of your focus is literally on that glute, that front glute muscle, okay? And then you're gonna hold this for a minute. You're gonna look at judges. Then you're gonna keep on going around to back pose. Okay, so you get into back pose here. A tip that a lot of girls don't think about, you always want to keep tension on your glutes, okay? So when you take that step out, you want to literally be pushing your glutes out the whole time. A lot of girls don't think about it, and they just turn straight around to the back. You could have the best glutes in the world, and they look flat when you do that. So you always want to keep tension on your glutes. Go very, very slow and controlled. Turn around to back pose. So then you're in back pose here. Remember, you're keeping your chest up. You're standing up tall. That's going to make your waist look smaller. You're pushing those glutes out. And then you're just holding this. And your hair, if you wear, obviously my hair is in a ponytail, but if you're wearing it long on stage, you want to make sure it's all flipped down to the back, so that focus is strictly just on your glutes and hamstrings. So you hold here, and then we're going to transition back to the front. So an easy transition is to step your legs together. Then you're going to take a step in front of you and pivot around, okay? So you can play with both sides. See, some girls turn to the left, some turn to the right. There's no right or wrong. It's kind of whatever's gonna come naturally for you, okay? So you're here, you're gonna take a step in, you're gonna turn around, you're gonna get right back into your front pose here. So that is your transition from back to front. You're in front pose one last time. What you always do before walking off is you curtsy. So that's just an arm up to wave, kind of saying goodbye, and then you walk off. So that is your mandatory poses, and then put together in your routine. Okay, so once you get your poses down, it's pretty simple. It's the same one, same front pose, same back pose. It just is a matter of practicing over and over, really nailing those down, nailing your routine down. And then you can kind of add your own unique flair to it. You definitely want to add your own personality. So for me, my personality is not, super bubbly on stage. It's more so, I guess, about the sass. So definitely the judges want to see your own unique personality. So play with it a little bit. If you're more bubbly, do that. You want to add a hair flip, do that. If you're more sassy like me, kind of, serious on stage, but still energetic, do that. It's kind of all about your own flair. So you start off to the side, you're gonna walk out to center stage. Same thing here, you wanna keep tension on glutes the whole time. If you notice, I'm arching my back, I'm keeping my butts out the whole time I'm walking. You get into front pose here. You're gonna transition to that S pose, whichever side you're on, doesn't matter. You're gonna step out, push all of your weight on that glute. Keep tension on glutes the whole time, turn around to back pose. You're standing up tall with your chest, you're sticking your butt out. You're gonna hold this, then you're gonna transition back to front. Same thing here, super slow and controlled. You're gonna turn around. You're gonna get right back into your front pose here. So if you notice, I go very slow, controlled. Keep your stomach pulled in too, that's a big one. Even if you're super lean on stage, if you're not consciously pulling that belly button into your spine, it's gonna be noticeable. So always try and keep that stomach, that core tight. You get into your front pose again. Last thing you do is just curtsy before you walk off the stage. Again, keep glutes pushed out, tension the whole time, you're arching your back, and then you're gonna walk off. So that is your routine.
Awesome. Very good. Is it hard doing that after you got all that blood in your legs?
It's very hard. I feel like a baby walking for the first time.